All right, I'm back. We are going live. I am not planning on addressing chats at this moment, just because that's not what I'm here to do. That's not what I'm going live for. Welcome, TKM family. We're back on this channel where we want to glorify God, and this is something that I never planned to do, but since I am in an accountable position where I feel I have an accountability here, I just want to go live here and talk about what's going on. So, as of late, some are aware, some are not aware. I just want to say before I start really getting into this video that this may be of particular interest to Seventh-day Adventists and other non-conference affiliated private self-supporting Seventh-day Adventist ministries and lay people and members. But all across the board, this should be of a particular concern to all people who call themselves Seventh-day Adventists. So recently, I should say something has erupted. I call it an eruption, like a volcano, because really that's what it's like. It's like someone says something and then this volcano erupts. And that's really what it's like. And this is a social media volcano eruption. And there's a man named Pastor Andrew Henriquez. And he and his family and other people have a self-supporting ministry called Prophesy Again or /Saved to Serve. And recently he has made a statement about when he believes the time of the end will be. And I'm not going to go into what he thinks. I'm not going to go into what he said even. But this has been considered among a large amount of people to be dabbling in time setting. Okay, so there has been public responses by Dr. Isaac Olatunji, otherwise aka Dr. O. And he has made public statements openly rebuking Andrew Henriquez. Then Pastor James of Advent Media Connect has come on and has displayed this going back and forth between Andrew Henriquez and Isaac Olatunji. And, you know, I look at this as just another sign of the Lord soon coming. It's a sign when people cannot properly conduct themselves where it comes to social media. Am I of a position to say, anything about these men? No, I am not. Why? Because we are all on the same playing ground. I don't care if you are a preacher. I don't care if you are a rich man. I don't care if you have a certain number of followers. I don't care. Because, the Bible tells us that the Lord is no respecter of persons, doesn't it? And that's exactly what it means. God is no respecter of persons. So every single human being that walks around the face of this earth is in exactly the same position with the exact same set of choices to make, whether those choices be for God or whether those choices be for the enemy, Satan. We all are in the same proverbial boat. We are all living this life in this body until probation closes for each one of us, or like if we die or something, or if we're still alive, we are all waiting for Jesus to come. So, given that, I would like to get directly to my point for this video. There's a verse that in Romans 3:23 that says, all, meaning all people. It doesn't say some. It says all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. So right away, that verse alone puts us all on the same playing ground. It puts us all on the same plane, if you will. And again, it puts us all in the same boat because we have all sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. That means I have sinned, you have sinned, the people in question have sinned, Andrew Henriquez, Dr. Olatunji, Pastor James, all the people that are talking about this subject have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. So, wow, that's humbling. That's very humbling. That should be humbling to every one of us. I want to mention that in John 8, verse 7, where this chapter is telling the story of the woman who was a prostitute, was drugged to Jesus because they were expecting to They were expecting to get a reaction out of Jesus. Look at this woman. She has committed these sins. Jesus, what do you got to say about this? They brought her to Jesus because they wanted to get Jesus to lambaste the woman. They wanted Jesus to rebuke Dr. Olatunji. They brought this woman because they wanted Jesus to openly rebuke the woman for her sins. Think about that for a minute. If you know the story, Jesus did not rebuke her. If you know the story, they got something dished out to them in such a loving manner, it wasn't even open rebuke. In such a loving manner, Christ reminded them and humbled them and reminded them that they too have sinned. And he told them, okay, you're without sin. Go ahead and throw a stone at her. We know it commonly as he who is without sin cast the first stone. He invited them while being reminded of their own sinful condition, of their own mistakes, being involved in things that they should not have been involved in. To go ahead and cast the first stone. Okay. All right. So that is one thing that we need to look in the mirror, take a good hard look at ourselves before we open our mouth that seems to get us in so much trouble. That mouth, it seems to get us in a heap of trouble. What does the Bible say about it? The mouth speaks from the abundance of the heart, because our heart is not where it's supposed to be. And so our mouth tells it all and gets us in trouble. I am on this platform realizing that I am putting these statements out there on a public platform. So I am therefore putting myself out there for questions, for comments, for negative responses, for positive responses, you name it. I am prepared when I put my videos out there for public view. I am prepared for what may come, whether it be negative, whether it be positive, whether people agree with me 100%, or whether they agree with me 50% and the other 50% they don't agree with me, whether they don't agree with me at all. But these are not my opinions. What have I done? I've read Romans 3:23, that we've all sinned and come short of the glory of God. John 8:7, where Jesus said, he who is without sin, go ahead, throw a stone at her. Cast the first stone. Go ahead. If you are without sin, go ahead, cast the stone. Am I a follower of Pastor so-and-so or Pastor so-and-so? No, I am not. Am I defending Pastor so-and-so or defending Pastor so-and-so? No, I am not. I am here to bring to the table what God has told us. Do I intend to tell people? Do I intend to live my life following Christ? Yes, I do. I want to follow Christ. I'm not going to take Pastor so-and-so's side, and I'm not going to take Pastor so-and-so's side, and I'm not going to entertain this nonsense. But when you go on a public platform and spew the things out of your mouth, which comes from the abundance of the heart, or which comes from your opinions, or your belief system, or whatever that may be prepared for the responses on that. And that is your accountability for what you've said. Okay? You know, in Mark 16:15, we are told to go into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature. That is what God has commissioned each one of us to do. He has not commissioned us to say things that are persuaded by our own opinions. Yes, God has given us signs of the soon coming of Christ. Yes, he has. When the disciples asked Jesus, how we're going to know when the end shall come, Jesus said there will be signs. Okay? But we've got to be careful how we go about these things. We have to go about these things with, I was going to say, with fear and trembling. But when we give messages that are supposed to be God's messages to a dying world, it's very important that we're not interjecting our own opinions or assumptions or our own mathematical equations. We are reminded that not even the angels of heaven know. And Jesus says, but my Father only knows the day and the hour when I shall come again. That's Jesus talking. Jesus is the Son of God. Jesus is God. So how can we put ourselves out there and say, if my addition is correct, Jesus is going to come, or probation is going to close at such and such a time, or Jesus is going to come at such and such a time between this time and that time. How do we think we can even do that? And then on the flip side, since all have sinned and come short of the glory, and Jesus says, he who is without sin cast the first stone, pick up the stone. How can we even think that we are okay to rebuke somebody? I'm not on here for clickbait. I'm not on here for money because my channel is not monetized. I'm not on here for filthy lucre. And I never thought I would be on here to even discuss things of this nature, because I don't want to get in the middle of this nonsense. But I will tell you this. While we are going back and forth with each other on this stuff, what does it look like to the world? Ask yourself that question. What does this look like to the world? And I'll go ahead and mention another name, Pastor John Lomacang. We have nothing to defend. When we defend ourselves, and when we call other people vipers, we stand there for an hour defending ourselves. Jesus didn't even defend himself. He just said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. He didn't say, Father, please defend me. He didn't yell to them. It said he reviled not. He didn't yell to them and say, stop it, stop it. Stop it. I am actually God. I came from heaven. Stop doing that to me. You bunch of vipers. I will say that people have rightly been called vipers in the Bible, a generation of vipers. But this gets into a lot of back and forth and name calling and this and that, and when will it stop? You know? And what does it look like? What does it look like to the world? You know, this looks ridiculous. But, excuse me, I would propose a commission to each and every one of us that puts ourselves out there on social media to check, double check, pray, ask the Lord, is this what he wants you to say? Ask him to touch your lips with hot coals. That no words be your own. Before we get on social media, make sure it's not to defend ourselves, because we have nothing to defend. Our righteousness is but filthy rags. Okay, so if I see a pile of filthy rags on the floor, am I going to defend that pile of filthy rags? No. It's going to be on the floor. They're filthy. You know? There's a lot to be considered here. We're not going to defend ourselves. We're not going to lie. We're not going to lie and say, oh, it was just a Freudian slip. We're not going to lie and say, oh, I had nothing to do with Dr. Omar coming to Oakwood. I had nothing to do with that and didn't know about it. We're not going to lie when the proof is out there that we knew good and well that Dr. Omar was coming to Oakwood. Now, I just realized that I put myself out there. But facts are facts. Facts are facts, and the facts are in. Oh, just had a wasp land on me. I don't want any part of that. But the facts are facts, and the facts are in, and the facts tell on us. And we're not going to get on social media and call people vipers and say, I'm not going to talk to vipers. I mean, come on, people. I was told when I was a little girl that it's not nice to call names. That's not what God wants us to do, call names. What does that accomplish? It doesn't accomplish anything. Will it make us more popular? Maybe. Among certain people. Among a certain group of people that love it when you call names. Is that the type of following that we want? What is our goal? What is our agenda? What fuels us to say these things? What fuels us to come on and bring the arguments of two people? You know, this has got to stop. We can't agree with when there's an argument between two people, and it takes two to argue. When there's an argument between two people, we cannot take sides because they're arguing because they're trying to defend themselves. We can't take sides for any of that. No, sir, no, ma'am. We can't. I don't take sides for two people that are going back and forth in this battle with each other, because this spiritual warfare is not our battle. It's God's battle, for number one. It is Christ's battle. We just have to choose who we're going to follow, Christ or Satan. That's our duty. And our duty is to let people know about this battle so that they can choose. But people are different. Like I said, we're all on the same plane. We're all on the same playing ground. We're all in the same boat. Taking each other's side accomplishes nothing, because we are mortal men. We are not immortal like Jesus. We are mortal. Taking a mortal man's side gains us absolutely nothing. It gains us nothing. I don't care how popular you feel. I don't care how popular it may make you. I don't care if it gets a lot of clicks on your videos. I don't care. You know why I don't care? Because God doesn't care. He doesn't care. This is not a popularity contest between us, because we are all the same. Wretched, miserable, poor, blind, naked. We're all the same. What we need to do is take a good long look in the mirror and say, have I displayed what Christ is pleased with? Is that what I'm displaying? Am I displaying what Christ is pleased with? I don't know what else to say, folks. Except God has shown us through things like this, things of this nature, that we have a lot to think about. We have a lot to ponder. We have a lot to consider before we open our mouth. Before we open our mouth, especially on social media where thousands of people see it. Is this a gain for Christ, or is this a loss for Christ? Is this a loss for Christ, or is this a gain for Christ? I'm feeling pretty sad about the stuff that I've seen recently, because I cannot truthfully say that these are gains for Christ. With that, it's my prayer that we will humble ourselves, that we will seek the Lord, and that we will keep at the forefront of our minds, is this a gain for Christ, or is this a loss for Christ? Until we meet again, may we all humble ourselves and pray and seek His face.